Y'all know what? That intro music just, I don't know. It gets me hyped every time I hear it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I need to make a song to it or something like that. You know what I mean? Spit a couple of little rhymes on it or something like that. Sky Squad, we are back in the building, baby. And we are here today to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 12, episode 10. So you say. Okay. And we'll get into why this episode is titled So You Say in just one moment. Okay. Don't go nowhere. Listen, if you are in the chatterization, let me know where you guys are watching from because you know we just a little bit nosy. I see we got some Georgia peaches in the building. I see you. Come on, Inglewood, Philly, New Jersey, Waco, Texas. I see you. Minneapolis, Turks and Caicos, baby. Pleasantville, New Jersey, London on the track. Okay. Oakland, Phoenix, Arizona. Yes. Come on in the room, y'all. Come on in the room. Come on in the room, Nashville, Jacksonville, Jersey. I see you. North Carolina, Cali's in the building. You up, girl? Oh, hey. Good morning to you, Monique. Good morning, boo. Philly, Germany's in the building. New Orleans, Oklahoma, Jersey City. I see you. Madison, Wisconsin. New Hampshire's in the building. Maryland, Paris, France. Hey, come on, Paris. What time is it there? Wisconsin, Birmingham, UK, Long Island. Listen, thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in to another recap. Y'all know recaps are my favorite, are my favorite part of what I do here on YouTube. I just love it because it just gives me a chance to just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, which I'm an introvert, so you would not think that that would be my personality, but you know, I like talking to y'all. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and rate this episode. And mind you, if I'm sneezing, it's because last night the fan was blowing on my face. So anytime that happens, I end up sneezing all the next day. So I already took some Benadryl, but to counteract the Benadryl, I'm drinking this coffee. Okay, because if you know about Benadryl, it's gonna make you sleepy. So I need the coffee to make me awake while the Benadryl is percolating in my spirits and keeping me from sneezing while I do this review. So I don't know what I'm liable to say today because I don't really understand how I'm feeling right now. But we here nonetheless. Now, having said that, let's rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10. Your boy, me, he, I, right here, I'm going to rate this episode an 8. This episode, to me, I'm going to give it an 8 mostly because it wasn't a bad episode, but I felt like we had already gotten a lot of what's going to happen in the episode via the previews. I mean, the biggest things that we needed to know about really happened in previews that were already released after the last week's episode. So to me, I just felt like y'all already gave us the meat and potatoes of this episode because baby, let me tell you something. I wanted to fast forward through her scenes so bad. If I liked her, I wouldn't have wanted to fast forward through them. If I liked her, the scenes might have been noteworthy because we did get a lot of backstory. If I liked her, I would care. Okay. But I don't like her. So it's very hard. Okay. It's already hard. Thank you, boo. I've come to realize life is all about balance. And to that, I'll take a small little sip. Okay. Now, some real balance would have been if I put some Jameson up in here. Okay. But anyway, having said that, excuse me, let's dive into the episode, shall we? Yes, indeed. So we return back to this episode and we are at Sutton's housewarming thingamabob outside. I don't know why she wanted to have this thing outside. It looked cold. The grass, she's in a pile of mud in the back, you know, likely from the construction. The grass ain't probably grew back yet. And I'm like, girl, you should have just had this in the house. Now you got these women out here who half of them don't even like you in your good furs, okay, and some of your shoes. But whatever, okay, whatever about that. We return with Lisa Rinna calling Sutton a hypocrite in her own home, okay. Lisa over there looking like Johnny Bravo with her hair teased up to the heavens, okay? And so she got a nerve to talk about, well, Diana said that you called her an MFer, okay? A mother trucker, all right? And Garcelle is like, girl, you wasn't even there, okay? pipe down. And then Erika's like, no, she had a conversation with Diana. Excuse me. But what you guys don't know is, and if unless you've been on the Instagram or the Twitter, Lisa Rinna tweeted that she also had dinner with Sutton, and she said that they had two very different explanations of what happened. So my thought is this, Rinna, instead of asking Sutton what exactly happened, and now you want to describe it in detail to the rest of the ladies, you only described what you heard from Diana. You did not describe what you heard from Sutton. So to me, I don't even know why she mentioned that on Twitter, because now you look like more of an ASS because you knew both sides to that story. Unless she was just trying to, make it seem as though Sutton didn't really tell the truth about it for some reason. And so anyway, Sutton feels like they left the conversation in a good place, because for me, what I'm starting to understand is when Sutton hugs somebody, she thinks that means that they on one accord. Unfortunately for Diana, when she hugs somebody, it means get away from me. I don't want to have no more conversation with you. And I am going to be the fake person that I am accusing you of being. Okay, that's what that means for Diana. So Kyle, of course, tries to, explain, because of course she is the explainer of all things when it comes to throwing Sutton under the bus. And Garcelle tells her, Kyle, that's kind of when you jump ship. And Kyle feels like, well, we're all on the same ship. I'm like, girl, you are on the steamroll over Sutton ship. That's the ship that you were always on, while you pretend to be her friend in front of her face. But that friendship is more toxic than, I ain't gonna say, but it's toxic. Okay. Anyway, everybody wants to go inside from the cold and the rain. Sutton gets a notification from a guy on Bumble, and they all start giggling and FaceTiming. I don't know why everybody thought that this scene was so fun, but I didn't. To me, it just kind of goes back to the lack of respect that most of the ladies, I think, have for Sutton. Let me take the phone out your hand. Let me dial this man on Bumble that you're trying to date, and let me embarrass you in front of this man. It just, to me, furthers the level of disrespect that they have for her. And to me, while I understand that for some people it might have seemed funny and cute, to me, what I've noticed is it's just a part of the pattern that they have with literally disrespecting her in all types of ways. She is the butt of the jokes, and Sutton doesn't realize it because she thinks that that's what this group of girlfriends is doing. Oh, I'm being accepted by the girls now. They're taking my phone. They're calling the man that I like on Bumble. They're humiliating me in front of him, and they're jumping on the phone, putting me on the phone, and it's all in the name of good fun. And I'm like, girl, you don't realize the toxic pattern here. But that's all right. That's all right. You will in time. Okay. Hopefully. Maybe. Allegedly. I don't know. Right. It very much gives Mean Girl vibes. And the fact that she doesn't see that kind of makes me, oh, it's just kind of like, girl, you don't feel that. And I know for some people it may have come off like fun in the scene, but to me, as I was watching it, I was like, this is it's micro. Okay, it's one of those small ways that they continue to use Sutton for laughs, kicks, and a storyline and a punching bag. But of course, they don't see it because it's all in good fun. Anyway, Garcelle is watching Erika knock those drinks back, drink after drink after drink, after Erika told her she was only going to have one. And Garcelle gets right into it. Excuse me. She's understanding of the fact that Erika wants to drink her cares away, allegedly. But under no uncertain circumstances can you talk to any child, much less Garcelle's child, in the way that Erika did. Now, Erika is apologetic. I don't mind the fact that she kind of owned it. I don't mind it. I think what I do mind is, though, her sort of excuse of, oh, there was I mixed my medications and I was speaking to the child like they were adults. You shouldn't even be speaking to any adult like that, to be quite honest with you, especially if they are related to one of your cast members. But then to take that even further, when she goes into her apology, she should have just stopped at the I'm sorry, it was inappropriate. I should never have done that. What I really want to say to you is that it is obvious that you raised two amazing, three amazing young men and left it at that. But when you start to add in the well-spoken part, to me, and I get what she's saying, and this may be a bit of ignorance on some people's part. So let me educate you for those of you that don't get it. You know, this idea of utilizing the term well-spoken, especially when talking to a person of color, it almost kind of is like a small little microaggression and a microaggressive way of saying, I didn't expect for you, someone who looks like you, to speak in the way that you do. Okay. And even if you don't mean it in that way, that's how it comes across. So it's usually best never to use that term well spoken with regards to anybody, because it presents the assumption that I felt as though you wouldn't be. And so I think that, you know, she could have left that part out, because I know that that's going to offend some people. And so this is a moment of education. I know she'll never see this video, but for those of you guys who are watching, that is why people react the way that they react when someone says, oh, you were so well spoken. Okay. And so meanwhile, as Garcelle and Erika are having a conversation, and Garcelle point blank to Erika's face expresses concerns about Erika's drinking and taking medications at the same time, as I sip on my coffee with my Benadryl in my system. You know, Erika is offering an explanation of, you know, she's trying new medications, this, that, and the third, yada, 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 yada. And Kyle is making faces off in the corner like, ooh, I mean, well, I don't. And so basically, Garcelle has to like check her and say, what you over here, why are you making those faces? And so Kyle is like, well, I mean, you know, she's only had two, you know, experiences where she's acted out of character. No, boo. To me, that is besides the point. Garcelle's point is, of the two times that she did get wasted, her behavior was so extreme that it requires me asking about what the heck the problem is, because it wasn't like Erika was just tipsy and having a good time. No, this woman was falling over, almost falling off the boat. This woman was cussing at, you know, Garcelle's kids, and this woman was trying to have a threesome with, and though it was probably a joke, but she was trying to have a threesome with Garcelle's other son, then while cursing out the other ones. So it sounds to me kind of crazy that Kyle is so defensive of this behavior, because it's more important to defend Erika than it is to defend the young boy that was cursed at unnecessarily at his own mother's birthday party. Okay. Now, yes, I'm not saying to nobody Erika is not do a good time, because I'm sure she is. Okay. But it does not have to come at the cost of, you know, a young man's feelings. It should not come at that cost. Okay. You know, Erika again apologizes, and you know, Garcelle has to check her and tell her basically like, this is what I mean when I tell you that you're jumping ship. Anytime somebody's having a conversation with anybody in the Fox Force 4, and I'm gonna take it a step further, there you are off to the sidelines chiming in when nobody needs for you to chime in, because you don't ever chime in when it's absolutely necessary for you to chime in. You chime in when it's either Garcelle or when it's Sutton in the hot seat. Point blank, period. Because she's definitely not chiming in when any of those other ladies are in the hot, or Crystal, excuse me, because they are the newbies and they are the, you know, I'm gonna leave it right there. But anyway, and in that moment, Sheree, thank God for Sheree. Let me tell you something. Sheree is the breath of fresh air that this show was desperately in need of. And if you thought that it was going to be Kathy Hilton, no, it is really Sheree, because she brings a balance to the group, having Garcelle's back, not in a confessional, in the moment. She had Garcelle's back and said, no, honey, this is what she needs. In this moment, she needs for you to remain neutral while they have a conversation, because it's not like Garcelle was going upside this woman's head. Garcelle was not cursing her out. Garcelle was having, and Garcelle and Erika were having a direct woman-to-woman conversation, okay? And Erika was in the hot seat. And to me, Erika was in the hot seat willingly, so she didn't have no issues with Garcelle coming at her. But Kyle, off to the side, wanting to protect this Fox Force 4 in some way, shape, or form, is always doing the most to try to make it seem like, oh, what she did wasn't that bad. Girl, get out of here. Anyway, the next scene that we see is Garcelle, and I'm sorry if I said Sheree. It's Sheree. My bad. I see y'all talking in the comments below. It's Sheree. It's Sheree. Sheree. And so anyway, the next couple of scenes we see are just kind of individual scenes, right? You know, Garcelle takes her son shopping for sneakers, and you know, these are the expensive kicks, the ones I like. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because I love me, you know, I love me some baby, I'm a sneaker. If y'all can see my closet, I don't even got space for any more sneakers. But yeah, I'm still online creeping at nights, trying to find some more to buy. Y'all know when you be laying in the bed and you supposed to be drifting off to sleep. There I am with the phone to my face, trying to find some new shoes on the Stock X or whatever they call it. I got a problem. And so anyway, or the ASOS. But anyway, they got an 80% sale. But anyway, Kyle is off preparing a meal for the Hanukkah. Dorit comes over, her family comes over. Diana has a full house with her kids and her fiance. Again, if I liked her more, I would have enjoyed this scene. But to be honest with you, I wanted to fast forward it, but I did not, because I felt like I needed to do my job and at least hear what the woman had to say in case something important was said, but there wasn't. The next important scene that we see is Kyle linking up with Sheree and Garcelle. Now, we learned that Sheree went to go visit Sutton's boutique where they talked about Diana's residuals feelings, you know, with regards to their Ponderosa at Garcelle's party. So, you know, when Garcelle gets there, she just jumps right in. See, Garcelle at this point is becoming the seasoned housewife. When she comes into the scene, because the woman got things to do. In case you didn't know, she has the first look deal with NBC Universal. She has her own production company. She is building the beach house. She ain't on the reel no more, but I think at that point in time, she was doing the reel. And she also has a Garcelle at Home line, which just launched on the Home Shopping Network. Garcelle is booked and the busy, okay? However, what I do like about this scene is that despite the fact that Garcelle needed to check Kyle, they were still able to bounce back from that and go to lunch together with Sheree, okay? Sheree is still trying to understand where all the feelings are coming from. And again, Garcelle jumps right in. She just wanted a moment with Erika, but Kyle wasn't letting her do that. Kyle says she had an issue with Garcelle mentioning the meds and the drinking because it's only been 2 times. But as we will see in the next episode, it will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more times, allegedly. Okay. I see you said Kyle's party went on way too long, which is why I spent approximately 3 seconds on it here. Meanwhile, for Garcelle, it's the extreme behavior of the times when Erika has been intoxicated that is a problem for her. And Garcelle asked if it could lead to alcoholism. Now, I already know. Okay, go ahead and send it to me. I already know that Kyle is going to run back and tell somebody else, likely Erika or Lisa Rinna, who was barely featured in this episode, but we'll talk about that in a second. Kyle is going to run back and talk about this alcoholism thing, and she's going to run it into the ground because that's how she do. Now, we get a flashback of why Kyle is so sensitive to this alcoholism thing, because she called Kim Richards an alcoholic back in season 1, and then Lisa Rinna got into a whole mess of trouble when she thought that when she said that, when she told that one lady that was only on the season for one season, that Kim was on the verge of I don't know, some type of breakdown or something. Anyway, so Kyle thinks it's a dramatic statement, but I'm like, Kyle, you are the most dramatic person on the show. Meanwhile, Garcelle says you don't think that her trying to find this balance of meds and alcohol is a problem. And Kyle reveals that she takes Lexapro for her anxiety, um, and it's not an issue. She's understanding of it. But, Sheree said, Sheree, I keep saying Sheree, and I mean Sheree. Please forgive me. I'm so used to thinking about Sheree Whitfield. But Sheree says, if somebody came for my son that way, I would be asking these types of questions too. Okay. Again, Sheree is a good balance for this show because she is able to think. It wasn't Eileen. What was her name? Eden. That was it. It was Eden. Sheree is a good balance for this show because somebody needs to be able to say what's really happening. And what Kyle, Erika, and Dorit will do is they will gaslight us into trying to make it seem like there is no issue when there might clearly be an issue. And so Sheree is there to back up, the truth of the matter. Hey, like, if she's cursing at my son, I got to ask the questions. And again, I go back to Garcelle directly asking Erika to her face if there was an issue with the meds and the drinking. Meanwhile, Garcelle is coming from a place of her own son having his own addiction problems previously and understanding how it started and what it led to. Okay. Sheree is trying to be the peacemaker in this situation, but I already know that Kyle is going to run back and talk about this information at some point or another. Here we are with Dirty Diana again. She was in a whole lot of the show this week. You could have replaced Diana with Lisa Rinna, okay, or otherwise known as Johnny Bravo. Because to me, I'm not really interested in Diana. I might be more interested in her if she wasn't so problematic on social media. But now that I know who she is on social media, I can't unsee it. You cannot put the toothpaste back in the bottle. So unfortunately, I will henceforth and forevermore look at Diana as problematic, Dirty Diana. Anyway, she is donating some clothes that she had pre-baby, and Erika comes over to, I feel like Diana was like, hey, come on over, girl. I know you ain't got these clothes no more, so let me rub it all up in your face or whatever. But anyway, Erika is happy to be there because she just is happy to reminisce about the times gone by when she had this extensive wardrobe. And then she goes on to say this, which I feel like she should not have said. As she's reminiscing on her past, she says that, oh, don't get it twisted. If she wanted something, she can get it. She's not broke. Okay? So let me say this. When you are being, sued and, people want earrings back and, you are being accused of, all types of hiding money allegations and things like that, it is usually not in your best interest to talk about your financial situation while you are on the show. Specifically, if it were me, I would be like, I don't have it. I ain't got it. I ain't even got it. Diana, let me live through you, girl. If I want it, I can't get it. But for you to sit there and say, if I wanted it, I can get it. I'm not broke. Girl, that ain't the thing to say on the national television. Because the people are obviously watching, okay? And by the people, I mean the government, okay? So when you around here talking about, if I want it, I can get it. I still got it. You don't think stuff like that could be used against you at some point? Didn't your lawyers advise you against that, or was it the meds and the cocktails? Is that going to be the blame for this situation too? I said, you know what? Okay, I'm done with you. Meanwhile, Erika then tells her about what Sutton told the group about Diana and her being on a good foot after their confrontation. And Erika is on the side of Diana, or she's just on the side of anybody else that's that's against Sutton. And for Erika, she feels like Sutton and Garcelle are the people that came for her the most, but it was really Sutton leading the charge last year. And we also get a flashback scene from Sutton's housewoman where Erika told Sutton, hey, you need to try to make things right with Diana and smooth things over, okay? Um Kyle has a snowblower at her house to blow some snow on her yard because there's an event coming up for the children's hospital launch. Um, we see a snippet of Lisa and Harry. I got a theory about this, and I don't know. I have to wait and see how the episodes play out. But my theory is, I wonder if Bravo is cutting back on Lisa Rinna's scenes because she really doesn't have much story going on in general. And I feel like we're seeing less and less of her in individual scenes as the episodes go along. And we're only really getting her in micro doses during the group scenes. So I wonder if they're either trying to phase her out or if they are testing to see which ladies, are resonating the most with the audience, especially after her tirade about people calling her allegedly being racist if she argues with Garcelle. I don't know that did her any favors in the eyes of the network. And I think that the network is possibly trying to test the waters to see if you got rid of certain characters, would the ratings still be the same? I don't know that to be for certain, but that's what I would be doing if I were the network, because some of these characters you will eventually have to phase out once they become stale. And if you ask me at this point in time, Lisa Rinna, while chaotic and entertaining in her earlier seasons, is becoming a bit of a stale character on this show. Now, granted, again, I'm never an advocate for anybody losing their job unless they're problematic. But at the end of the day, I just feel like, I don't know. It feels like the writing might be on the wall just a tad bit, because when you look at the amount of screen time, and when you watch the show, you will notice that certain characters are getting most of the spotlight, and that would be Garcelle, that would be Sutton, that would Kyle, and that would be, I mean, even Erika. I mean, those are the ladies that are at the forefront of this show, and Diana in this particular episode. And I think they, before they, before all of this stuff happened recently on social media with Diana, I think that they were really betting on her to be one of the future diamond holders that would really help take this franchise into the next phase or whatever. And honestly, Dorit is fading into the background as well, to be quite frank with you. JMW says, can they cut Diana too? She don't make no sense. Plus, you can definitely tell she was brought in to 100% go after Sutton. And that's the thing. I think that's the thing that probably elevated her from a friend to a main cast member, is the fact that she did butt heads with Sutton so much. And I think that the reason why they like Sutton is because Sutton is quirky. Sutton is chaotic. Sutton is a bit unhinged. But ultimately, you need characters like that don't have a filter, that aren't editing themselves, and that are not afraid to be themselves enough that they will get in trouble with the rest of the group. You need people that are okay with being themselves and not trying to force some sham of a personality down our throats the way some of the other ladies do. Because as you will recall, that was Dorit in her first season. Dorit was putting her foot in her mouth 24/7, okay? And they was giving her the business when she first came on the show. But what happened with Dorit was she began to assimilate into what she understood the popular girls needed and what they wanted from her. And so at that point, she became boring to me. And to be honest with you, Crystal was barely part of this episode as well. Meanwhile, we learned that Sutton is going to go for a Ponderosa with Diana. She needs a pep talk from Garcelle in the car. And Garcelle is like, basically, I feel like this. Garcelle was like, girl, why are you trying to go talk to this woman? Because what do you hope to achieve with this woman? And you could tell Sutton is just trying her hardest to like get on the good foot with her. Because Sutton is so unhinged, she keeps putting her foot in her mouth. Now, though I do not like Diana, I'm going to try to be as objective as I possibly can with what I thought about this argument, okay? Um, Sutton sits down and Diana gets right to it, and she's like, "So what do we do?" Okay. And Sutton starts with Diana saying that she was clumsy with her words. And she's like, "How could you say that when you didn't know me?" For Diana, she was saying that I was saying it to give you the benefit of the doubt that you might not say the right things, but you meant well. But she never said that Sutton meant well. She never said that during the situation. Anyway, it doesn't matter because now she feels like Sutton does mean every mean thing that she says. So Sutton is like, I want to come to a resolution, but I just don't want you to continue to be mean to me. Diana feels like Sutton came at her about her health, which she did. My theory behind that is also too that there was supposed to be a storyline wherein some of the ladies questioned the after effects of Diana losing her baby. That did not go so well. And so I feel as though producers probably prompted Sutton to mention, "Hey, what are you doing here at Garcelle's party if you were supposed to be on bed rest?" So maybe not the fact that she, had the situation happen, but maybe that she was exaggerating the after effects of it. That's kind of what I think might have been supposed to happen. But it didn't go well for Sutton in that moment. And I felt like Sutton was wrong for questioning, why are you here at this event when you're supposed to be on bed rest? Because I feel like somebody else's health ain't really none of my business. Okay. So I do feel like Sutton was wrong for that. But she does apologize in this moment. Now, um, but for Sutton, she's like, but you also, made fun of me in my miscarriages. You laughed, you rolled your eyes, you said, "Oh, boo-hoo, cry," and all of this type of stuff, which was equally as wrong for Diana to do, because now you are also minimizing someone else's trauma simply because you felt like they came after you for yours. Two wrongs don't make a right. And Diana was equally as vicious, actually not more so vicious than Sutton was in that moment, because she said a whole lot of things that were much worse about Sutton in that moment. Um, to me, in watching this argument, I feel like Diana is trying to make Sutton feel like Sutton is crazy. And that to me is gaslighting, because she keeps saying things like she needs professional help to communicate with her. And she's telling Sutton that Sutton isn't being sincere. I cannot tell you, that your apology to me is not sincere. The only thing as a person that I can do is tell you personally that I don't accept your apology. And that to me would be a more truthful statement that I could actually respect from Diana. But I cannot respect this gaslighting about you're not being sincere. You can't tell somebody else what their level of sincerity is. You can only say, "I don't buy it," or you can say, "I don't accept it." Okay. And I would just rather her say, "Listen to me, I don't accept anything that you're saying, period." But she's not saying that. What she's doing is making Sutton feel like, "Oh, uh, you're still being fake," when it is Diana who is in fact being fake. And at that point in time is when Sutton is like, "Well, listen, I thought when we hugged, everything was all good and hunky dory," aka Kathy. But at the end of the day, Diana was like, "No, everything wasn't good. And yes, I was being fake." Okay, so at this point, Sutton is like, Diana has a problem with Diana. And I believe that as well, because as you guys will recall, when Garcelle joined that conversation, Garcelle told her, "You have a chip on your shoulder that has nothing to do with anybody else." And I absolutely 110% agree that Diana still has a chip on her shoulder about the fact that Sutton yelled at her, because she mentions it every time they have a sit down ponderosa. She keeps going back to, "You yelled at me. You yelled at me." Sutton apologized for that. And if you didn't truly accept it, you should have told her then. But now you're holding on to this moment in time that was so fleeting, that didn't involve you, but you involved yourself when Sutton and Crystal were having their own issues. You chose to get involved in it. And then when you got your head bitten off, now you're upset and crying. Okay. Had you not said anything in the first place and sat there and kept your mouth shut, you never would have been involved in the situation. Okay. you would have been an innocent bystander in whatever chaos was ensuing. You could have been sitting there eating your drink and actually just processing and enjoying your vacation since you've been going through so much. Okay. Meanwhile, Sutton tells her, listen, I don't really like how you're moving or whatever like that. And then Diana asks, why? Because I won't accept your abuse. I'm like, girl, abuse, abuse, abuse. Get out of here. If you feel like you have been abused by Sutton, you clearly haven't watched Kyle with Sutton, because then you would. I ain't gonna even say it. I ain't gonna even say it. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it. Okay. So Sutton asks Diana if she wants to move on or not. And Diana is like, well, I don't really know who you are. And Sutton tries to tell her, well, I'm a good friend. I'm loyal. Okay. And the conversation goes a little something like this.
Very good friend.
So you say.
That I know.
So you say.
Mm-hmm.
That I know.
So you say?
That I know.
So you say?
That I know.
So you say? It literally goes nowhere, okay? Nowhere at all. And I'm like, you know what, Sutton? This is what you get for you keep trying to have a conversation with this woman. You keep trying to make things right with this woman. This woman is like bent on not being cool with you. And guess what? It is about 10 women on this show. Sutton, you can simply ignore this woman for the rest of your life and be absolutely okay. She can go talk to whomever else. You know what else she can do? I'm sure she got some more money that she want to donate to Haiti so she can remind Garcelle about all the times that she's helped the black people out. Okay. So anyway, the thing ends there. Next week, Kathy Hilton returns, and we'll start to see what kind of mess they bring with that. But anyway, that's all I got to say. That was the review for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 12, episode 10. So you say. I think we got a while to go, baby. And I think the season is going to heat all the way up. I would be expecting a mid-season trailer in the next week or two. So we'll just wait and see what happens with that. With that being said, y'all know I love y'all. I've been trying my hardest not to sneeze this entire time. So now I can go and let loose and let have. With that being said, I will catch y'all in the next video.